Coming up on this edition of Speed Chronicles, what were you expecting?
SIG Media presents Speed Chronicles with Todd Lewis, powered by Rev TV.
Thanks for tuning in again this week. We do it every week on the Rev TV YouTube channel and your favorite podcast platforms. It's Speed Chronicles. It's talking about motorsports, business, promotions, marketing, all kinds of aspects. Not a lot of results focused. There's enough talk about that. Please like and subscribe and follow along each week. It's a good discussion. Thanks for the feedback we've been receiving as well. Most welcome. We appreciate your suggestions. Okay, we finished up the weekend, if you will, last weekend, where it's nonstop motorsports from morning until evening with Formula One, the Indianapolis 500 and the Coke 600. Monaco of course, kicks off the start of the day. So what were you expecting? Oh, there's changes this year. There's going to be a mandatory 2 pit stops for the Formula One cars at Monaco, and maybe that'll shake things up, and maybe that'll give us something to look at and something different. Yeah, really didn't. It's Monaco. The cars are big and powerful, and it's very hard to pull up alongside and pass someone. That's not new. That hasn't changed. I'm not sure what everyone was expecting or hoping for, but let's be realistic. You're not going to get a great Formula One race at Monaco. The facility simply is not capable of handling one. There's going to be a few passes, there's going to be a few battles, there are going to be some things that happen, but this has been going on for years. So it's not a new problem. For years, the cars have been too much for the circuit. But I'll tell you as well, it's not going anywhere. It's a fantastic place with all those people and those suites, drinking champagne and eating incredible food. There's big money there. All those yachts in the harbor, those are hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the kind of money that's involved in Formula One. And at this event in particular, it's opulence and glamour and everything about Formula One that they want. So expect it to continue for quite some time. I maybe next year will be a little bit different, of course, because of the new regulations for the cars. Little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, slightly more nimble, but I don't think it's going to have a big impact. I think we realized a long time ago, if you're going to try to have a real competitive race there, you've got to change the course. You've got to change the circuit. And there are limited options to do that. You want nonstop side-by-side action craziness? Give the drivers remote control cars. That's about the only way that's going to happen. But it's not going to be a wild, pass-filled event ever. Okay, so the race is hanging around. And then, of course, after you've had a dose of Formula One in the morning, it is the Indianapolis 500. And unfortunately, this is going to be the last year that we go from Monaco into the Indianapolis 500 because Formula One is changing their schedule next year. Monaco is moving to the first week of June. I don't know how that's going to impact the Canadian Grand Prix because they are moving up earlier in the schedule. It'll probably be on Indy 500 qualifying weekend, but we're going to have to wait and see. That's what I'm expecting to happen when the schedule becomes official. But the Indianapolis 500, I love this event. It's amazing. It's hard to describe if you've never been there. I mean, it's tremendous to watch on television, and they do a great job of trying to present all the pageantry and the traditions and all the usual great, wonderful things about the Indianapolis 500, from back home again in Indiana to taps and the salute to service and those the veterans that march through. It's an incredibly emotional experience. Of course, the 500 is built up to incredible levels by IndyCar as this monstrosity of an event, and if you win it, you're known as an Indy 500 winner forever, and it's something that carries with you and precedes your introduction at many events as you carry forward with the rest of your life. So it is a big deal. I was kind of curious to see what the big spectacle that Fox would make of it, and they did. They made a big spectacle of it, and there was very much on the Fox brand. There are some people that didn't like some of the content items in the pre-race and stuff. Others do. Remember, this is an event that lots of people are watching, and it's the only IndyCar event they're going to see. So you have to welcome them in. those that are upset about having content and descriptions of events of the race and about the cars that is below their knowledge level, get upset about that. It's stupid to do that, quite frankly, because you want to educate and bring more people in. You want a wider audience. That's the biggest problem that IndyCar has, is that not enough people watch it. They did get a big audience for the 500, over 7 million. It was up like 40% from a year ago. That's good. So this stuff about making it a big spectacle, it is the greatest spectacle in racing. So make it a big spectacle, make it a big deal. Open your arms, welcome more people in. It is fantastic. It is it's a Super Bowl pregame show. I mean, there are hours and hours of programming that lead up to the start of the Super Bowl. If you don't want to watch it, then avoid all of this content that's beneath you and something that you don't want to, and too celebrity oriented or too celebrity focused. Don't watch it. Just like you do the Super Bowl. You don't have to watch the 4-hour pregame. You don't have to watch the 2-hour pre-race show on Fox if you want. But this property is big for Fox. It's their first one. They paid a lot of money to get the IndyCar right, so you bet that they're going to push that kind of stuff forward, and they're out to draw a big audience, because that's, as I said, the issue is not enough people are watching every race. 7 million, great number for the Indianapolis 500. They had a great number for the first race of the season because it got a ton of promotion. Some of the others since have not been particularly good. So it worked. Let's see where it goes from here and what happens next. But again, I love the traditions. Back home again in Indiana, the shots of the crowd are absolutely great. We had lots of drama. We had lots of action, and it started on the pace laps. Scott McLaughlin crashing out on the pace laps, absolutely heartbreaking for him. So much build up, and then it's over even before it starts. Just those television shots of him. Alexander Rossi had a fast car, looked to be in good shape, then had a problem. Gets into the pits, his day is done, his car catches fire, he gets out, he starts pitching his gloves in frustration, and then we see that the fire has gotten a little bit bigger because there's a little bit of fuel spilled. And again, Rossi's fuel man, Mike Miller, is fine. He was helping extinguish the flames when he caught fire. That's a bit of a problem if you're in pit lane, but it's incredible to see everyone in action. Tremendous work to maintain their composure, put the fire out, get the fire out on Miller. He's fine and good. Kyle Larson crashing. The talk of the double was a big deal leading up to this year's 500. Crashed out. Oh well, we'll see if it comes back again. I'm not so sure that it will. And then Alex Palou, big pass on Marcus Ericsson to take the victory. That's 5 out of 6. That's his first oval win. Oh, and he gets it at the Indianapolis 500. He is having a year that you simply can't believe. All right, though. Now we get more penalties with disqualifications for illegal cars. This has got to go away. IndyCar's got to get your house in order, so that dropped them back in the classification. So get your stuff together in terms of inspection and making sure the cars are legal, and you got to expect that it's going to be pretty tight from here going forward. So team members should be on their game and making sure everything is buttoned up. Let's talk more about Palou and this incredible season, 5 out of 6. You know, how long do you think he can continue that? How soon is he going to lock up the championship? These are the things that should be talked about as we get closer to the summer months for IndyCar. I will say, I'm not picking Alex Palou this week in Detroit, and I'll tell you why. Simply because he's going to be exhausted by the time he gets there. His obligations this week after winning the Indianapolis 500 are huge. In fact, they started on race day in the evening because they trucked him out to an NBA basketball game for a promotional appearance. He was up doing pictures early the next morning. He's off to New York to do a bunch of stuff. He is doing all kinds of media this week as the Indy 500 winner. And by the time he gets to Detroit on Thursday, he is going to be exhausted. And Indy 500 winners have had frustrating weekends at Detroit in the past. So it's too tight a timeline, it's too hard to process, and it's just something that happens. Scott Dixon, by the way, had the line of the evening at the awards ceremony for the Indianapolis 500 saying, as a present, that Alex Palou is getting a summer vacation. It's 5 weeks long, and it starts this Thursday, and he may still be leading the championship after that. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but he has got better than a 2-race cushion right now on second place. He could take the next 2 weeks off, come back, and still be leading the championship. That's how far ahead he is right now. Quickly on the Coke 600, again, big event, big crowd, tremendous. Big score for Ross Chastain. Starts in a backup car that they finished 20 minutes before the start of the race. Has to start at the back. Climbs his way through the field, wins the race. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Tough break for the NASCAR Canada Series. Got word just a little bit earlier. They are postponing this weekend's event at the Autodrome Chaudière because of weather. And weather doesn't look good this weekend. And in fact, next weekend, which was the first choice to try to reschedule, but it's just too iffy. So they've bumped the race to August the 2nd for the Autodrome Chaudière. That's a tough break because it's a long time between race 1 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park and race number 2 now is going to be at Sunset Speedway. That's a month in between. So a tough start to the season for those teams, but hopefully they've got all those oval cars ready and they'll be ready to go at Sunset because it is going to be a busy summer after that. Looking ahead to this weekend, I mentioned Detroit and IndyCar, and IMSA is on the bill as well. I love this event. I've had the great privilege of working it the last couple of years. Super fun event. Volunteers, second to none. They are absolutely wonderful people. All those that work as part of the Detroit Grand Prix, fantastic. IMSA and IndyCar in the same bill. It's a great weekend of activity. We'll get Formula One as well. We'll get NASCAR in Nashville. So we'll have lots to talk about next week as well. Enjoy another busy weekend of racing. Back with you next Wednesday.